Hi everyone and welcome to today's video. We're back in the Finnish-Polish deck and we're going to be making a couple of adjustments based on my playtime and also some feedback from people like Grigory in the comments. So the first thing to say is I'm going to get rid of the Commandosi because I honestly haven't brought them in that much. So I'm going to switch them out for something else. I'm also going to get rid of these guys. Again, I've not brought them in that much. So the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of the Commandosi. I'm keeping these guys because the spikes are very good. I'm going to get rid of those guys. The Nebeski, I'm not sure. I'm going to get rid of them for now and have a look at what else is available. I'm happy with the anti-air troops. I'm happy with the anti-tank troops. I think I'm going to take the Jakari 90s or possibly the Panzer Jakari 90s. I think it might be these guys because they have good anti-tank round. It's at short range, but it's going to kill even heavy tanks. And they have the KK-62 machine gun, which I believe, from what I've been told by Grigory, has a 100-round magazine, so it spends more time firing than rearming. So let's take those, and I'm going to take them in the vehicle with the Bushmaster. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's effective. And we're going to bring in 9 veterans of those. Then we need to think about 35-point infantry, so the really heavy stuff. So the Renako Jakari and the Renako Jakari 90. So he suggested that again the K62 is better than what these guys have, but they have a better launcher. I think we'll go with the Renako Jakari standard rather than 90s, just because they're a tiny bit cheaper. I'm still going to bring them in that vehicle though, because the Bushmaster is just too good to pass up on, really. I've got 0 or 2 left actually, so I can't bring them in that. I don't really need those guys in it though. These guys are more likely to be needing the support. So let's get rid of those, bring those in with that as elites, and then we'll bring the launcher fellas in something else. I could bring them in the grenade launcher one instead. I think I'll bring them in with the grenade launchers. The grenade launchers on vehicles are usually quite good. Oh, it's going to have to be 7 trained, because I'm going to go through 4 of them easily in a game. And we've got 3 points left, and I'm going to bring in some Sappery, because frankly I need them. There are more and more people bringing them in, and they're just so useful when you get into close quarters engagements. Let's go with those guys for now. The reason I'm going with those is because they have a strength of 10, so they're going to be a bigger nuisance to kill. Support I'm pretty happy with, other than the Brak 89 I'm going to take out. I just feel like they're not giving me enough coverage with the napalm, as I want them to be, basically. So I'm actually going to switch out to the Rak 91s because of the splash damage. I'm very tempted to take the Rak 76s because of the cluster munitions and the fact that they fire everything in one volley. They'll chew through too much supply, so we're going to go with the Rak 91. I'm going to take 2 trained ones. Tanks. I'm pretty happy with the tanks at the moment, so I'm going to leave them alone. I haven't brought them out as much as I'd like to test them properly. Recon, I'm very happy with. I've had no issues with any of those. I've mostly been bringing in the infantry so far, but I will probably start using the tanks more as games change and I'm in a different position. Vehicles I'm changing. I haven't brought any of these things in with the toes, and the muskies were just very inaccurate, so I'm a little bit unhappy with that. I'm going to take the ZUs because they're cheap and can be used against choppers. We'll go with the TO-55 and just see how that plays out, because it has both a cannon and flames. Helicopters, they're fine. I've not really been bringing them in. Air units, now this I'm changing. I was very disappointed with the napalm. The napalm bomber only drops half of its rounds per pass, so it doesn't evac when it drops. that's dangerous, because if I'm concentrating on something else, then that's going to die. So I'm going to take the AVIA 28 just because it's got a huge bomb, and I think in the right situation it'll be devastating. We'll see how it plays out in the deck. I may well again change that to something like an anti-tank ATGM plane. So that's all the changes I'm going to make. So I've changed some of the infantry out and switched to a more Finnish-focused deck because of things like the machine gun, which the K62 has more rounds per clip. And I've also picked some Sappery just because I need the flame troops. People are bringing them in more and more, and they make such a difference in close quarters combat. Then I've switched out the napalm launcher for just a standard Uragran style HE 220mm rocket artillery piece. Tanks I've left the same, recon I've left the same, vehicles I've changed out completely because I just wasn't happy with my choices. I wasn't bringing the first one in with the missile on. So I'm going to go with these two. I'm hoping this is just a bit of cheap anti-chopper stuff to take to the front line and be annoying. And this is a bit of a mixture of, it's got a tank shell and it's also got flame. That'll help out in close quarters. Helicopters I'm leaving the same. Air, I've just changed out the bombers. The napalm bomber was only dropping, as I say, the 4 bombs instead of the 8, which is very annoying. So I've switched out to the bigger 1,500 kilogram bomb. It's slow, but in the right situation, it's devastating. Well, that's all I have for this video. Thanks very much for watching this quick update. I may well change the deck again, in which case I will post another update. Please, as always, like, share and subscribe. Comments below about what you think of the deck, what you would change. Especially from you, Gregory, you've been very helpful so far. I hope everybody has had a fantastic Easter weekend, and I'll see you at the end of this week.